Hi guys, it's Janae and welcome back to J Heart Loves Books. I hope everybody had a happy holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate, and if you don't celebrate any of the holidays, I hope you had a good vacation if you were in school and you got the time off, or in work and you got the time off. Hopefully, I just hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, New Year's, just anything you celebrate. I hope it was great and you had lots of time with your family and friends. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys my December wrap-up. Yes, I actually have a wrap-up this month and I'm pretty proud of myself in my January TBR. So I read 5 books in the month of December, and to be honest with you, I read all 5 books in the span of 1 week. And I guess it's because I was on vacation and there was nothing really on TV to grab my interest. So, of course, when TV fails us and Netflix, you're just not in the mood for Netflix, there's always books. And I'm so proud of myself. If I have a review for any of these books, I'll link it down below. But yeah, I'm just gonna briefly talk to you guys about these books and then giving my ratings, and that's about it. Okay, so the first book, well, it wasn't the first book, but first book I'm going to show you guys is Signs Point TS. Technically, I started this December 31st and finished like 10 minutes after midnight. So technically, I finished this in January, but I'm going to count in this because, come on. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was a fluffy contemporary. There was a little bit of family things going on that made it have a little bit more depth to it, but it was a very fast read. It was a fluffy read. Of course, there was romance, and I find myself last year, the last book I read in 2015 was a Sandy Hall book, and that was a little something different. So I guess it's sort of tradition that my last book always has to be a Sandy Hall book, and I'm okay with that because her books are sweet, short, and straight to the point. But yes, read this book. The next book that I read in December that I legitimately got in the mail, and after I read the book I was reading, I just hopped straight into it because the concept was amazing and I loved it, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and that is Poison's Kiss. Penguin Random House sent me Poison's Kiss because I am a first in line B-Fest member. I won it at B-Fest, and long story short, they're sending me ARCs for a year. So I'm very grateful and appreciative for that. And Poison's Kiss, it's really good. I'm gonna read to you a little bit of the back. A teenage assassin kills with a single kiss until she is ordered to kill the one boy she loves. The commercial YA fantasy is romantic, addictive, and like a poison's kiss. This book comes out January 10th, and I can't wait to put up my review for this. I'm going to film it probably today and upload it the day of the release. I'll also have a blog review for this book, but this book was so manipulative, and it was twists and turns, and you were thinking, the character, you're thinking, okay, this is everything straightforward, everything straight through, but then you get into the middle of the book and then things start to get revealed, and then there's so many secrets that were kept from her, and the only thing she wants to do is basically protect her brother. She doesn't want anything else. She doesn't really care. If her brother wasn't in her life, she probably would have left the life she had a long time ago. But it was just so, the last chapter kept me guessing, and I know that's what everybody says about fantasy. Oh my gosh, there was such a twist, but there really was. It's just till the very last few chapters, you really didn't know what was going to happen, and I'm so upset that I have to wait until 2018 to read the second book. But this book was so good, and it's by Brianna Shields, and this is her debut novel. And the fact that this doesn't take place in America, it takes place in India, was really cool because it was the first book where America wasn't already corrupted, or it wasn't some sort of type of America or in space or anything like that. It was just another country, and that was amazing. But yes, I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Waiting for the second book is probably going to be the ultimate struggle, but I did enjoy it, and I do recommend you pick it up on January 10th. The next book I read was because I just finished Army of Fire, and I didn't want to get into anything heavy, so I picked up this book, and I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, but I did. And I really, it's such a guilty pleasure that I don't even care if I get judged for it. But it was Did I Mention I Love You by Estelle Mascam. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but I've had this on my shelf since the summer, and I've been eyeing it, and everybody on Twitter is obsessed with this book and these series. And the author, she's so fun and nice and sweet, and she's a teenager, and which is awesome. And this first started off on Wattpad and just became like a sensation, and she got a publishing deal because of it, and yeah, which is really awesome. And that's, I think, the dream for every teenage author, to get discovered and get a signed contract from Wattpad. But this book, I can see why like some people love it, because I love it, but I can also see why if somebody picks this up, they're just like, I don't like it, because there's so many things that happen in this book that you root for that's not good whatsoever, and it's just like, okay, I'm rooting for this, but this is kind of bad. But you get so involved and in love with the characters that you really just, you stop caring. Well, at least that's how it was for me. But basically, Eden spends her summer in California. Her father reached out for her after 3 years of not talking to her. And when she comes to California, she has this whole new family. It's her dad's new wife, and she has 3 sons. So she has 3 new stepbrothers. There's one that's like 7 and one that's like 10, and of course one that's around her age, 17. So Eden, she doesn't really like her brother Tyler, the 17-year-old. She thinks he's obnoxious and arrogant, and his ego is just massive. But they find themselves hanging out a lot because of the people they hang out with, and of course, like, a lot of things happened, and it was just so many things. This book got me so emotional, and I loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I don't care. It's such a guilty pleasure that you really just get invested into the characters and what's happening. And the main character does go through something that a lot of teenage girls go through, so it wasn't just about the romance, it's about like her having to like love herself as well. And the next book is Did I Mention I Need You? The second book in the Did I Mention I Love You trilogy. And I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It left me crying. And I'm so happy that I picked up the 3rd book at Barnes & Noble, because I didn't know what I was going to do without it. But it left me crying, and it left me upset. And of course, it left me wanting to know how things will end. But yes, I'm not going to talk too much about this because it is the 2nd book in the series. But it wasn't, so far Did I Mention I Love You is my favorite. Did I Mention I Need You? I liked it, and I enjoyed it, and a lot of things happened, and it was just, it was so amazing. And the last book I read, of course, is Army of Fire. Not going to go into much detail about this. I love the author of this book. She's absolutely amazing, and the book was just fabulous, and I have a review already up in my channel about it, so I'll link it down below. 5 out of 5 stars, and I'll leave my blog review down below. But yeah, that's all I read in the month of December, and I'm so proud of myself. And I'll just skim through really quickly about the books that I plan to read this month, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I know, it's time to get on the bandwagon since the 3rd book in this series. That's going to be, I heard, 8 books long, but I need to jump on this bandwagon ASAP and then read A Court of Mist and Fury and then wait for the 3rd book like everybody else. But yes, it's happening. Of course, Did I Mention I Miss You has to be in this because I need to know what happens. I want to know what happens. I don't want to be disappointed. I hope the people I want to be together get together, and I just need to know. But this is not going to be the first book I read because I feel like if I read it first, reading slump is going to hit me like a pound of bricks. I'm going to read A World Without You by Beth Revis. Molly from Molly Reed says this was her one of her favorite books in 2016. She was like, it was so powerful and she loved it, and she hyped it up so well that I wanted to read it. So I'm going to attempt to read A World Without You, and I'm excited. And yeah, I can't wait. If you read this book, you should let me know if you loved it, if you liked it, if it wasn't your cup of tea, if I'll like it. But yeah, A World Without You. And the last book that I hope to get to is City of Saints and Thieves by Natalie C. Anderson. This is another book that Penguin Random House was so kind to send to me, and it says January 2017, so I think it's coming out this month, but on the back it says spring 2017, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's January, but I'm excited to read about this book. It's more thriller and mystery, and to be honest, that's like, I've never really dived into that when it came to books, but I just recently watched a thriller, an old thriller with my mom. I think it was called The Bone something, like The Bone Searcher, something like that. If you know what I'm talking about, please tell me down below because I can't remember. But after like watching that movie, I was like, I don't really have a lot of thriller books, and I'll try to fix that. And then Penguin Random House sent this one. I'm really excited. It says on the back, it's like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo meets Gone Girl in this thrilling YA murder mystery set in Kenya. And I'm so excited. This is also not set in America. I'm trying to read a lot of diverse books this year. I'm trying to read a lot of books that aren't set in the country I live in, and that's very difficult sometimes, but I'm doing really good so far, so I can't wait to pick this up. But yes, those are all the books I read in December and all the books I plan to read in January. You guys should let me know what you read this month, not this month, what you read last month and what you plan on reading this month. And I hope you guys have a lovely day, and remember, always love your books. Bye!